Welcome to the Dice Tower, a series of video reviews about board and card games. Here are your hosts, Tom Vassell and Sam Healy.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vassell.
And I'm Sam Healy.
And we have Z back again.
What's up?
Craziness. All right, today we're taking a look at Nations, the dice game. Now, I know we've played Nations. You played Nations too, right?
Yeah,
the very first time. Nations is a game that was a Civilization-style card game, a little bit abstracted and a little bit long. By a little bit long, I meant
A lot.
it's about 40 minutes a player or so, which is
Too much.
pretty long on a 4-player game.
That kind of.
Okay. So anyway, when they came out with Nations, the dice game, which I think uses the exact same cover and artwork as Nations, I don't know. Dice games don't always do it for you or me, but let's take a look. In this game, the goal is to get the most victory points, which is kept track on a board in the middle. You'll also notice that there's a track here for knowledge, which is staggered at the beginning for player turn order. At the end of every turn, you're going to be checking knowledge, and you're going to get 1 point for each person that you're ahead of on the track. So here, red would get 3, yellow 2, purple 1. Except in a 2-player game, one person will get 2 points over the other. Each player is going to be a different civilization, and there's really no difference between the civilizations other than the colors. Each of these civilizations has 5 buildings: a temple, a quarry, an axeman, a farm, and a caravan. And basically these each give you a white die, which has different symbols on the different sides. You also get a coin and a re-roll token. And the object of this game is to use these dice to get more things. On your turn, you're going to, at the very beginning, you roll. Okay, so let's say these are the dice that I have. You'll notice I have 2 quarry stones, 2 gold, and a food. On my turn, I have actions that I can take. An action I can take can be to buy something. An action I can take can be to build something. I can use these sides of the dice, or I can use these. This is basically a coin die. So once I use things, I'll place them here to show that they've been used. I also have a reroll token, which lets me reroll dice as many as I want to. But once I use that, it's also been used, and that's my action for the turn. Once everyone passes, the turn will end. The game takes place over 4 eras, and at the beginning of each era you'll take a stack and you're going to place different tiles out here that people are going to have a chance to purchase and or conquer. Now there's 4 columns here. You'll only use 3 of them in a 2- and 3-player game, but if you're playing with all 4 players, you'll use all of them. Now players can buy things, and you'll figure that out by here. For example, you'll see 1, 2, and 3, and here's a coin. So to buy the brewery is 1 coin. To buy Hatshepsut is 1 coin. To conquer this Hindu Kush up here would be 3 swords. So things are going to take coins or swords. When you buy a building, let's say I buy this aqueduct here, I replace one of my buildings, so I might replace the farm here. When I do so, that farm means I will lose that white die. So I get rid of one of my white dice. It can be the one I've already used. And then I will get a blue die, which has different things on the sides of it. This one has a lot of knowledge and a lot of the stone. And then I'll roll it and add it to my pile. Yellow dice have a lot of coins and food on them. And the red war dice have swords and then food. And they have different things on each of them. And you can get these dice by building different buildings. As the game goes by, the buildings will increase. I might get something that gives me a blue and a white die, or even later in another turn something that gives me 2 yellow dice. So your pool of dice is going to fluctuate when you buy these. When you get a leader, you simply put them here. You can only have 1 leader at a time, but they'll give you a special ability. So for example, she gives me another reroll token that I can use every turn. And so the leaders will do different things. You can also have Wonders of the World. A Wonder of the World is placed here. You can only build 1 at a time. It's not built once you put it here. You have to spend this many blocks. Once it's built, you're simply going to place it next to your board, and it will give you victory points at the end of the game. And this one here gives me a food token that I can use each round. And as the game goes by, these Wonders of the World will get more powerful and give more victory points. And then finally, there's different areas you can conquer using swords, and these will simply give you tokens. There's different tokens in the game for the blocks, and you'll see for the coins and knowledge and swords, and a token, like I said, is like a die that you can use every turn. When every player has passed, the round is over, and you're going to get points for where you are in knowledge. Each knowledge that you've rolled and such will move you on that track. Also, if you can turn in a certain amount of food, you'll get victory points, and that will change based on what era you're in. And if you can turn in a certain amount of swords, you'll get victory points. Whoever has the most swords will also be going first in the next round. This will continue for 4 eras as the different things ramp up. The 4th era mostly has a lot of tiles that provide different amounts of victory points. In it, here's India. There's a Statue of Liberty. If you build that, you get 7 victory points. You'll add these to points that you've gotten over the course of the game, and whoever has the most points is the winner. All right. So what is this? How does this correlate to Nations, the board game?
Well, it looks equally boring. That's not a good sign.
That's very true.
Yeah. But it has dice, baby.
Actually, other than the name and the artwork and the fact that there are cards in the middle that you are buying, it's pretty different.
It is. Yeah. It is.
In fact, I would go so far as to say the theme about civilization building is
It's thin.
ice thin.
And let's start from that point of view. Ultimately, I could see that being a negative. If people go into this going, "Oh, I really love Nations. I want to see what Nations, the dice game, has to offer." Well, a completely different experience, really. Which means you might be disappointed if you're going into it thinking, "I want a Nations that's just a little shorter or a little different." It's not it. This is really its own entity. And for someone like me who was not really that big of a fan of Nations, the original, this package delivers what I wanted. It's quick. I mean, it's really a fraction of the time. It gives you a great feeling of building up in an abstract manner, sure, but being able to go, "Oh, I'm going to lose a die, but I get a red one," or I get the blue die, which now is much more powerful, or "Oh, I have a leader now, and that gives me some kind of power." Really, just the progression of the game is quick, but feels fulfilling. I thought it was slam dunk.
Well, you're a big Civ guy. You love civilization theme.
I do like the civilization theme, but I'm also really big on aesthetics. And this game horribly lacks in aesthetics. It is an ugly design. And really, even the dice are ugly.
I was just going to say, with the exception of the dice, I like the dice.
The dice are ugly. I mean, they're different colors, and yeah, that's kind of cool, but I don't know. It's just the color palette that they used a little bit. Maybe it was a little bit too rustic of a palette, and it just I like stuff to pop, and that didn't really pop. It had too much of an earthy tone. All of the dice.
Well, they're going for that serious look, and it's
I understand that. It's just this game seriously, and I don't know why they didn't do this. Why did you not give all of the different nationalities a special ability?
It seems like it would have been a simple thing to flip on the other side.
They've got that. Each player board has this huge box where you're supposed to place all of your dice, and it has one little word in there. You missed an opportunity on all that space to put a special power there that would have given this another echelon of playability.
Right.
I mean, I really whiffed on it, man. I usually like dice games, and I'm not feeling this one.
Well, I liked it. I mean, I wish there was more theming in it. You know, when I get the leaders, and by the way, they picked a very odd mix of leaders. I mean, Tesla's a great guy, right? But I don't think he would be a leader. No. They pick him over, maybe Washington or, they just had some odd picks of leaders in here. And just, even the building, when I get a building, I'm like, ooh, a blue die. I don't think, oh, it's a distillery or whatever the building is, And also then at the end of each round where you need a certain amount of food and a certain amount of swords, no one goes, oh, famine is coming. Prepare! Or, oh, it's time for war. No, it's like, do you have 2 food? Check. Okay. Right. But despite all that, I really enjoy it because I love the dice changing. I love the idea of you on your turn can re-roll or use some of your dice. And then we go around, and it's so fast. I mean, this is a fast game. The box says 20 to 40 minutes. It really will go towards the 20 minutes, definitely with 2 players, but even with 4, it just goes and it's over. And so people are like, what? This is the last round? I always tell them it's the last round. People are like, why?
That's one of the things that really took me off guard. Because I was finally getting it. I was finally catching all of it. And then it was like, okay, the game's over.
I actually like that, though.
I don't even feel like I've played a game. I just feel like I've learned how to play a game. And now the game is supposed to start. And it's done.
I think the theme is actually a detraction for you.
Maybe.
I think you would enjoy it more if it had been called, Animals, the dice game, or something that then you would go in expecting
to be
nothing,
bored.
and then be like, oh, it's a pretty cool dice game. But you went in expecting...
Trying to figure out why animals, what?
Okay, that's the first thing that popped in my head.
Nations, how about like Neighborhood Block?
All right.
Game. A real small entity.
What's your final opinion here?
I'm a big fan of it. It sounds like I like the game more than both of you guys, I think. I'm a sucker for short games that give me enough. That give me a nice bite. And Sam, again, I think you were coming into going Nations, and then it's over in 30 minutes.
I wasn't a big fan of Nations, though.
Okay.
Because it was too long.
This is like the other extreme
What really
for
put
you,
me off,
I mean.
the first thing that really put me off was how ugly the game is.
That's true. I agree. And Nations is just not a good looking game.
The cards are not. They don't have good artwork. The player boards are very.
But I thought the
static.
graphic design was very good.
Nah, no way.
I thought all the symbols made sense. Everything
it's like
was
somebody in high
clear.
school made it.
I thought
Which
it
isn't
looked.
saying much.
Tell me he's
I don't think it
wrong!
was pretty. I just think it's functional. That's what I'm saying. I would take functional and okay artwork over a gorgeous game that then I have to look up everything every 5 minutes.
True, but not to get too meta here, but 1901, New York 1901 is functional, but it pops.
Yeah, okay, and we just reviewed that. That's what I'm talking about.
So
anyway, I'm going to give this one 1.5 weirdly colored dice up.
All right. What about you?
boom. I'm not down on it because it is a decent game. I won't mind playing it, but I will never ask to play it. They're bigger fish to fry.
Well, Z is actually wrong. I do like this, I think, better than him because I'm giving this 2 thumbs up because I can't actually think of anything. Oh, 2 marble thumbs up. How's that? From a statue. But I really enjoy the game. I take the theme out.
Thinking like marbles stacked on.
I don't know, yeah.
I'm taking the theme out completely, really, and I'm just thinking about the upgrading of dice, and I really get a kick out of it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, ooh, this time I'm going to try to build Wonders of the World. I'm going to pop those out and get points. Or this time I'm going to be smart, and just move that up and make sure that I'm getting points other ways. Right. This time I'm going to go for lots of dice. And it's not like there's major strategies, but the thing I really enjoy about this is I thought all 3 player counts, 2, 3, and 4, I haven't played the solo game, but the ones I have played, 2, 3, and 4, they all play well. 2 players is boom, 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 boom. 4 players, same thing. And I like when a 4-player game feels almost like a 2-player. The 3 is the toughest number in this game because the number of tiles doesn't change. And therefore, you can get messed over if someone takes the tiles you want, but it still plays quick enough that I don't care. It's like, oh, I lost, let's play it again. And I really enjoy this. Lots of fun. So that's Nations, the dice game.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.